Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Joe, and it's time for Pocket Up with Joe. It is a Saturday, March 18th. We got a game kicking off right away here. Well, actually, it has kicked off here a little bit later than I expected to be on today. But you guys, we got 11 games on the board, lots of opportunities to make some money. So this game between the Colorado Avalanche and the Detroit Red Wings has kicked off. We just started that first period. Scoreless right now, 17 minutes still left in this game. If you're looking to jump in on this one, live bet this one, I do think the Avs in regulation is where I'm going to go with this game. I haven't bet it, you guys, and I was looking to live bet this one. This could be something that you look to take as we see no goals coming in. Like I said, this first period just starting. We've made it in a couple of minutes into it, but you could look at taking the Avs when we see that line move. I was just going to look at the line movement, what we're seeing on that. Let me just pull that up for you. If you want to jump in on the Colorado Avalanche right now, they're minus 184 still on that money line. Give it a couple minutes or let the Red Wings score here first, and then I would jump on it. We got that total, though. It has dropped to 5.5 with this game having no goals so far. That game was at 6.5, so if you did like that over, now is the time to jump on that total going over. Now we have to talk about the elephant in the room yesterday. Absolutely terrible day on the ice. If you took all 4 games going 5-2 for the teams, I tell you, the Flyers and the Sabres, the Canes and the Leafs, the Washington Capitals and the Blues all finished 5-2 with the underdog winning all of those except for the Leafs. The Leafs weren't the underdog. The Canes were the underdog in that situation. But the Flyers getting a 5-2 win over the Buffalo Sabres. St. Louis Blues getting a 5-2 win over the Washington Capitals, and the Leafs winning that 5-2 over the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, bright shining light within that, we did have Samsonov over 28.5 save shots on goal. Now, he saved 32 of 34 shots on goal, so that did come in. Ovechkin wasn't able to go over 5.5 shots on goal. He only hit 4 shots on goal in that one, and the Ducks ended up getting the win, 7-4 over the Columbus Blue Jackets. So that was, that was the yucky game of the night. And the yucky game of the night ended up being the one that made me money. It was one of those nights. College basketball was brutal for me as well. Riding Drake there, the Bulldogs to cover that spread and pull off the upset was looking solid to that last 5 minutes. And I tell you, that was the theme of last night, except for the NBA. NBA was really good to me last night. I even got back in on the Canes when they were plus 2.5. I got back in on the Sabres. So it was a bad night. So if you guys had a bad night, I am feeling you as well. The green beer really did take care of it. So I had a couple of green beers last night. We got 11 games. Let's jump back on track today. Big shout out to each and every one of you. Ben, thank you for being here. Let's make some money, Johnny and Kev. Happy Saturday to you too, Benji. Yeah, the Hawks game last night. Trae Young hitting over 3.5 rebounds. You guys, that was beautiful plus money. You got to watch Trae Young. So over 3.5 rebounds, we got a plus 134 yesterday. 7 rebounds he averaged, or that was his last game versus them. He averages that 3.1, but he really has Golden State's number. So definitely something to look for. With Trae Young, looking at all of their props that you can get and trying to find where we're finding value. So I will have another prop out, another YouTube short coming out here shortly today. I tried to make it before we went live here and I hit the wrong button and, it just went live as a TikTok, but without any words. So we'll get to it after the show, you guys. The Avs just scored, Johnny. Nice to see. I hope if you guys liked that over 5.5, you jumped on it because now that total has gone up to 6.5 again at minus 128 to that over. So we'll keep an eye on that game, but let's start breaking down the other 10 games on the ice. 2:00 Eastern, we have the kickoff between the Boston Bruins and the Minnesota Wild here now. Allmark expected and Gustafsson confirmed here for the Minnesota Wild. Wild coming in at plus 132. Home dog. God, you guys, I love the home dog. I do. I'm a little gun shy with the NHL today after what we saw yesterday. All of those teams breaking every single trend in the book. Those dogs getting those wins in unexpected ways. But looking at this matchup, my only concern for Boston, and while they don't they're not going to look ahead to the Buffalo Sabres. They might a little bit look ahead to wanting to beat a divisional opponent. So Boston sitting first in the Atlantic. We know they've clinched it. The Buffalo Sabres fighting. Well, I don't even know if they have a chance, like a standing chance at all after losing again last night. They're still sitting fifth in the Atlantic though, so they would have to just play absolutely lights out from here on out. But with Boston here, I think they will really play up to that game, looking to put the Buffalo Sabres in their place in tomorrow's game. So it's my only concern here. This is, or that game tomorrow versus the Buffalo Sabres will be their last leg of their trip. Now, this is the first leg of a back-to-back for the Minnesota Wild here. They have the Capitals on deck tomorrow, but it's not a divisional opponent. They're sitting sixth in the Metro, the Washington Capitals. So I don't think the Wild are going to overlook Boston here. Now, Boston has played so phenomenally strong in Minnesota, winning 5 of the last 7. It's a hard one to fade Boston. We know how strong Boston is. If you want to bet this one, I like the under. I'm going to take the under 5.5 in this one, and I know it's a low total, but we look at both of these teams so strong defensively. And both can open up offensively, but I'm not buying it. I think this is one where I've got to take the over or the under, the under 5.5. I was just reading your comment, Benji. Sabres made the list of fade. Yeah, they are completely falling apart. I just actually cannot believe what we're seeing out of the Buffalo Sabres. I had so much hope for them at one point. You know, they were able to light up the net constantly night in and night out, and then I don't know what happened to them. Not being able to score, only putting up 2 points on the Flyers last night. That was appalling out of them. So we will see what happens with that. But I do think the under 5.5 is the way to take the Boston Bruins and Minnesota Wild game. Now, the Winnipeg Jets and the Nashville Predators. Hellebuck expected in goal here for the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets coming in at -146. Nashville Predators +122. You guys, the books are killing me with the home dogs tonight. I'm going to warn you, I like the home dogs today. I do think Nashville has the opportunity to get this win. Winnipeg, Benji, just like you said, the Sabres have fallen into a do not bet. Winnipeg is a do not bet for me. This team is a team I can't trust. We got Connor Hellebuck going into goal, which he is strong at home. Connor Hellebuck's not the best on the road. Now, they've lost their last 2 games here. Boston shut them out in that last game, 3-0. First leg of a back-to-back, Blues on deck for this team tomorrow. And when we look at the Nashville Predators here, yes, this is the first leg of a back-to-back. They have the Rangers on deck tomorrow. This is a battle right here today of the Central. I really do think all the value is on the Predators. I just can't lay -146 here for the Winnipeg Jets. Now, I do think, though, if the Preds are to win this, this is going to be a lower scoring one. And I hate taking these unders. I hate always backing a home dog. Actually, I love backing a home dog, but I hate taking these unders, and I got to take the under 5.5 in this one. Both these teams have been doing really strong on the penalty kill as well. So Nashville, the Preds, +122, home dog. I just don't have faith in the Jets. The home team has gone 4-1 in the last 5 meetings between these two. Yeah, let's not talk about the Sabres ever again. Can we just pretend they don't exist anymore? Edmonton's team total, we will get to this in a couple of minutes, James. Definitely looking like a strong way to go in that matchup. That's the game we're going to talk about right now. They're taking on the Seattle Kraken. Now, my only concern with Edmonton tonight is the scheduling situation. This is a one-off road game. So they've been at home. They go into Seattle. And then they go back home for their next game. So they have the Stars, or they just got that nice win over the Stars. It was a 4-1 win. It was a nice big win. They had the Sharks on deck on Monday. So they're not looking ahead. Hyman is listed as day-to-day, so it's undisclosed what his injury is here for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, this over 6.5, I think absolutely is in play for this game. I love it here. I think you look at whichever team. James, if you're liking Edmonton to get the win, looking at their team total over 3.5, I like. Looking at the Seattle Kraken's team total over, I like as well. I do think this is a higher scoring. Could even be a 5-4 game. So I do think these goals are coming in. But again, we got a home dog in the Seattle Kraken. They're +118 at home, and we have two teams that are battling it out in the Pacific, Battle of the Pacific here. Edmonton sitting third, the Kraken sitting fourth. And we know at one point the Kraken was right up there at the top of the Pacific Division. So these two teams battling it out. Now Skinner is confirmed for the Edmonton Oilers, and Grubauer expected here for the Seattle Kraken. So it'll be interesting to see who actually comes out. Now the Seattle Kraken are off a bad game. They got the win, but it was versus the Sharks. It was 2-1 in OT that they got that win. So I don't know how much faith, really, like looking at this Kraken team, if they play like they did versus the Sharks, it's going to be absolutely terrible. They've also had some struggles at home, going 1-5 in the last 6 home games. So this is one of those games where give me the over, give me the first period over, and give me both teams to score in the first period. I do think both teams come out strong in that first period. The over 1.5 is a safer way, though, because we know Edmonton can absolutely light it up in the first period and get the 2 goals themselves. When we look at the Seattle Kraken, they have done a really strong job at limiting opponents' ability to get those shots on goal, holding opponents to 27.8. So be careful if you're doing any player props for the Edmonton Oilers on their shots on goal today. Make sure you take them for those anytime goals, like looking at Connor McDavid for the anytime goal instead of the shots on goal. Now, the last time these teams played, Edmonton did get the big win. It was a 5-2 win. I believe that game was in Edmonton. So we've seen the Kraken, though, beat them on their one road trip. So the Kraken have been able to beat Edmonton. It's going to be really interesting to see how this one goes. Yeah, I do like that first period over. Absolutely. I think it's a great way to go with this game. And, you know, I actually like taking those first periods over when I really do think we're going to see a high scoring game. I know it's failed us in a couple of these games, like the Wilds game a couple nights, or was it the Dallas Stars game? I can't remember. There was a game a couple nights ago where we went scoreless in that first period. And then from there on out, we saw the goals coming in with 2 high-powered offenses like the Edmonton Oilers and the Seattle Kraken. I think those goals come in right away. So it should be a really interesting one. Wings can cover the money line. You know, if the Wings come out and get this, it would be interesting. And yeah, the Aussie accent slipped after a couple drinks last night on a couple more words than normal. So you guys, I don't know if you catch any words. There are words that I say, but not words that I would like normally say on this show that do slip sometimes. So it's always quite funny when people catch those. Let's jump into the next one. We have the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Now the Flyers on that back-to-back, and so are the Canes. Both of them coming off different games. The Flyers coming in off the upset win. They got the upset win at home versus the Buffalo Sabres. So they won that one 5-2. The Canes coming in here off the loss to the Leafs. They lost that one 5-2. It should be interesting to see how both of these teams play. Now, the last time these teams matched up back on just March, I believe it was 9th, just over a week ago, the Canes got a 1-0 win. Super low scoring game. Do I expect the Canes to only put up 1 goal in this? Doubtful. This team is so talented. They're averaging that 3.28 and 34.9 shots on goal. We've got Sandstrom in here for the Philadelphia Flyers today. He's not the strongest goalie. He definitely will let in a couple of goals. So I'm looking at the Carolina Hurricanes to have a really nice bounce back game here. I'm going to take them to cover that puck line, -1.5 at +110. Kind of scared that they're giving us so much plus money on this one. They're -230 favorites going into this. You could look at them in regulation as well. You're going to pay a little bit of juice in regulation, but definitely a safer way to go with this one. But they have won their last 6 meetings versus the Philadelphia Flyers, and they just have way more to play for. Yes, they're sitting first in the Metro, but you look at this Metro division, they've got the Devils and the Rangers chasing at them. The Metro is not giving up. These teams are fighting tooth and nail to win the Metro. So I do think the Canes have so much more to play for. Now, looking at this total 6.5, I'm not in love with it. I do think it could go one of 2 ways. I think the Canes have the ability to completely lock down the Philadelphia Flyers. And if that happens, it's not going over the total. But if they let in a couple goals, we know the Canes have the ability to put the goals in as well. So I'm going to stay off this total, you guys. But The trend is to that over. If you wanted to play the total in any capacity, it's gone 18, 7, and 2 in the last 27 meetings to that over. Yeah, this needs to be a bounce back here, Kev. They just struggled in that game. It was really sad to see, especially for my wallet when I jumped in on them plus the 2.5 with a sprinkle on the money line when they were down. Oh, man, I really thought it was going to come. I really had faith in them. And it's paid us before, but it just didn't pay us last night, jumping back in on those favorites for a second time. It hurt, you guys. Gonna need therapy after last night. Which teams will hurt you? The Sabres, the Canes, right? The Capitals. The Ducks didn't. Thank you, Ducks. Anyway, let's talk about the next one here. We have the New Jersey Devils taking on the Florida Panthers. I don't love the scheduling spot for the New Jersey Devils. They're coming in at plus 100. And yes, I know they are such a phenomenal team. They're sitting second in the Metro. They need every win they can get. Like we've talked about, the Metro is so loaded. These teams battling to capture the Metro division. Now, we look at this matchup. The Devils won the last game back in December 4-2. But they've just lost the last 2 games to the Lightning. And guess who they face tomorrow? The Lightning. So they'll be on the road to face the Lightning in Tampa Bay. I hate the scheduling spot. I think this is one where we could probably see the New Jersey Devils come out strong to start this one, and then the Panthers end up winning it. Panthers coming in at minus 120 with Bobrovsky confirmed in goal. They got that big win. How many days ago was it? It was that Point Fest, I believe it was on Thursday, versus the Montreal Canadiens. It was a 9-5 final score. They just absolutely lit up the net. So I do think this is one where we can see the Florida Panthers get a nice home win here. The Devils also struggled in Florida, which is really interesting, only winning 2 of the last 7 meetings in Florida. They've also gone 5-13 in the last 18 meetings overall versus Florida. Now, if you're going to look at the total here, it might be a safer way to play this and just take it over the 6.5. I do think this is a 4-3 style game. I do think we'll get the best out of the New Jersey Devils and the Florida Panthers here in this game today. Now, the Panthers have let us down in some games, and they've really stressed us out, not being able to score, not being able to put up their share of games. So it's less of a bet on the Florida Panthers and more of a scheduling issue for me to back the New Jersey Devils, just with the Lightning on deck and how they've struggled in Florida. So give me the Florida Panthers, you guys. Hold on tight. It should be an interesting game. Looking at those over trends, both teams trending nicely to that over. Lots of stats to back it up. I would look at that first period again, over 1.5. I do think that is a solid way to go. As the Red Wings tie it up with the Colorado Avalanche, that game's sitting 1-1 apiece with 6 minutes left in the first period. I really hope you guys grab that over 5.5 when it was minus 110 when we started the show. Now you can't even get the over 6.5 without paying a ton of juice. Over 6.5 at minus 186. Gross. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that game. Let's go to the next game. On the ice, we have the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning here. Looking at this matchup, Montreal coming in as a huge dog, plus 290. We have the Lightning minus 375. And the thing I like about Montreal in this matchup, this 7 o'clock Eastern matchup, total 6.5. Montreal is starting Sam Montembeault. I do have more faith in him here. I do think the play is taking Montreal plus the 2.5 on that puck line. It's a little juicy at minus 145. And I know the last time these teams played back in November or December, it would have been, it was a 4-1 win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. But like I just said, the Lightning just got 2 nice, beautiful wins over the Devils. They face the Devils as well tomorrow. I think this is a letdown spot as well for the Tampa Bay Lightning here. I would not lay 2.5 with them. I would pass if you don't want to have some faith in the Montreal Canadiens tonight. But I do think the plus 2.5, the minus 145, and a sprinkle on that frickin' money line at plus 290 is exactly what I'm doing today. I hate to say it because yesterday killed me so bad on the books. But I do think this is a game you have faith in Sam Montembeault to come out here for this game to stay tight. Now, the Canadians have struggled in Tampa Bay, so that's something to keep in mind. They also these two teams play again on Tuesday. So the Lightning have the Devils on deck tomorrow, and then they play in Montreal on Tuesday. So I do think Montreal wins one of these matchups. Either they win this one or the next one. I'm going to sprinkle each time on them to get the win. So, but I think their best opportunity is to pull off an upset that the Lightning didn't expect to see with Montreal breaking the trends. Saw trends broken last night of getting the upset win here today. Brian Elliott also confirmed in goal for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So we don't have their best goalie in goal. Montreal has every chance. Still have faith in the Avs. Yeah, I think the Avs, you still have to have faith. Colorado, such a strong team. Now looking at the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Ottawa Senators. This one is at 7 o'clock Eastern as well. Total of 6.5. We have the Leafs coming in here at -140, +118 for the Ottawa Senators. Matt Murray confirmed for the Leafs, and Matt Sogard. Mads Sogard. I knew it didn't sound right. I had to look. Confirmed here for the Ottawa Senators. Now, the Leafs coming off that beautiful win last night over the Canes. Beautiful, not as in to my wallet, but for them, great win. Now, this is the second leg of a back-to-back with them playing last night. They have the Islanders on deck on Tuesday. When we look at the Ottawa Senators, they're the home dog here, +118. And damn it, you guys, they keep giving me all these home dogs with the opportunity to pull off the upset. Ottawa Senators, my concern here is they're giving up too many goals. I lean on them to get the win, but they're going to have to come out and actually show up defensively, which we're not seeing. We're seeing them allow these goals come in like crazy. They allowed Colorado to put up 5 on them in their last game. They lost that one, but it was a tight game. They've lost their last 4, so they are holding a little bit tight in these games. The Penguins are on deck for them on Tuesday. Now, between these two teams, the home team has gone 9-3 in the last 12 meetings. Kind of, again, pushes me to the Ottawa Senators here. The Senators also 4-1 in their last 5 home games. I might put a little bit of money on the Ottawa Senators here at +118, but I do think the best bet is to take this over. With the amount of goals the Ottawa Senators are giving up, we know Toronto can fire away. Austin Matthews has been absolutely incredible. This team averaging 31.8 shots on goal per game and 3.41 goals per game. Ottawa Senators coming in here averaging 33 shots and 3.12 goals per game. So I do think, give me the over in this one. Give me the over at 6.5. Now, when these teams meet up in Ottawa, we've seen 13 of the last 19 meetings hit that over. Sens Leafs over 6.5. I'm glad we're thinking the same way, John. Definitely a solid way to take that game. Oh, there's another game. We've got Metro rivalry galore here. The Penguins taking on the New York Rangers. These teams hate each other. Like, it's such an understatement about how much, when you say they hate each other, watching them out there on the ice, the amount of penalties these teams are taking playing each other is just crazy. Now, they played a couple games in the last week. The last game, the Rangers got the win a couple nights ago, 4-2. Now, we didn't see that game go over. I really did expect that to go over. I expected that 4-3 score. And I think in this one, we again look for this one to go over the 6.5. I do think the Rangers get another win in the Garden. Igor confirmed and Casey DeSmith expected for the Penguins. I think the Rangers at home in this matchup, especially with their stronger power play and penalty kill, should be able to come out and get another win. It's going to be another one where I wish we could bet those fights, because these two teams are fighting like crazy out there on the ice. The penalty minutes will come. Penguins can't play in New York. They've lost the last 4 in New York. Give me the New York Rangers here. They're a solid home team as well. I think they can get the win. The Vancouver Canucks and the LA Kings kick off at 10 o'clock Eastern. One of our late games here, a total of 6.5. Now, the Kings on the puck line, -1.5 is +130. You got to look at the puck line here because they're -196, or you could look in regulation. +162 here for the Vancouver Canucks. Now, looking at this matchup, I got to roll with the Kings on the puck line. I think they have every opportunity to win this in a high-scoring fashion. This team, I tell you, they're not getting the respect. They're sitting second in the Pacific, only minus 196 over the Vancouver Canucks, who are sitting sixth in the Pacific. Now, Vancouver did win the last time out, and it was a 4-1 win. They've won 7 of their last 8 games as well. But the LA Kings won 5 of their last 6. The home team has won the last 5 meetings between these two. And the LA Kings just so phenomenally strong at home. They've gone 22-9, 2-1 at home, 16-18 only on that puck line. And when we look at the puck line for the Vancouver Canucks, I understand why some people would love them on the puck line here, 21-12 on the puck line. They've also played really strong in LA, but I'm not buying it. I have to break all the trends here. Look at which team is a better team and who is playing in better form. It's definitely the LA Kings. They definitely have more to play for. They're sitting second. You know, they want every win they can get as well. They don't want to be caught here by the Edmonton Oilers, who are definitely fighting for a second spot as well. Now, Korpisalo is expected in goal for the LA Kings, and we like what we've seen out of him. He is a solid goalie here. Demko expected for the Vancouver Canucks, and he has done a lot better since coming back from injury. When we look at these totals, they do trend to the under when they play each other. Last 5 meetings going under that number. With what we've seen out of the offenses, with the firepower both of these offenses have, I just can't get behind the under, but I'm not going to bet it over. So I'm on the fence with that. I do think this is one, though. Kings, puck line, minus 1.5 at plus 130. Let's go. Let's do it again. Everyone expecting the Kings here. You can look at it in regulation as well. I think the only way, you guys, that the puck line doesn't cover is if this one somehow we get the empty netter. It's the only way. I think, or not the empty netter, is when like they pull the goalie and they get that extra goal, the unnecessary goal where they couldn't have won it anyway, where, you know, the Kings are up by 2 goals, and then Vancouver pulls their goalie. They get an extra goal on Korpisalo here, and then the Kings still win, but just by 1. So if you want to look in regulation, definitely makes sense there, because I don't see this one going to OT. I think Vegas, the Kings are way too strong. They really are. They're chasing Vegas in the Pacific. I could see them making a run for the Pacific here if they just dig deep and Vegas starts losing. So Kings, solid team. Let's grab them on the puck line. Next game on the board. Do we have to talk about it? Oh, man, this hurts my heart talking about my Calgary Flames. At 10 o'clock Eastern, they take on the Dallas Stars. So the Dallas Stars coming into Calgary. They're plus 106 here. On the money line, minus 128 for the Calgary Flames. Jacob Markstrom expected in goal for Calgary, and Jake Ottinger expected here for the Dallas Stars. Now, we look at the Stars. They've lost their last 2 games. They're off that loss to the Edmonton Oilers 4-1 in a game. I just expected so much more out of the Stars. Now, Calgary, off that impressive win over the Vegas Golden Knights. No one saw that coming. Well, if you did, congratulations. I did not see that coming. 7-2 over Vegas. I expected if Calgary was to squeak out the win, it definitely would not be in such a high-scoring game. Didn't expect them to put 7 goals on Vegas. Jonathan Quick just did not have a good day. Now, they're home off a 2-game road trip, not a long road trip, and it's not a worry for me. My worry for Calgary in this one is the Kings are on deck on Monday. So we got the Dallas Stars sitting first in the Central. Calgary beat them just on March 6th. It was a 5-4 high-scoring game. Now, when we look at Calgary, they're sitting 5th in the Pacific. They're taking on the LA Kings, who we just talked about, sitting 2nd in the Pacific on Monday. Scheduling-wise, this is a bad spot for Calgary to take them to get the win on Saturday night at the Saddle Dome. I can't touch it. I do think we go over 5.5, though. This total is too low. I think if Calgary gets a win, they can, but I just can't bite, you guys. I just don't have enough faith. But I do think over 5.5, I think this is a 4-2 style game, possibly for Calgary or the Stars. I can see it flip either way, 4-2, just hitting over that 5.5. Yeah, they shock people. They win these games they're not supposed to win. I think they're going to save everything in their tank for the Kings. It's a divisional opponent. They're returning home from just a 2-game road trip. I don't know. It's just, this game's not sitting right. I do think over 5.5. I think 4-2 final score in that one. The Chicago Blackhawks and the Arizona Coyotes kick off at 10:30 Eastern. We got a total again of 5.5. We got the Blackhawks coming in at +130, -156 for the Arizona Coyotes. And this Coyotes team is not one that I don't want to back at home right now. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. They've been solid at home. They've been lighting up the net as of late. The Coyotes don't want to lose. So give me the Coyotes here against the Chicago Blackhawks, who are not solid on the road. I do think we see a very similar game to the last time these two teams played in February, where the Coyotes got a 4-1 win. They are loving playing at Mullet Arena. They're 19-11-3 at home so far this season, and they're -156 here on the money line. So I don't love the value we're getting. You can look at their team total over 3.5 at +114. I do think they get 4 goals in this one. You can just parlay them on the money line. I don't love parlaying teams like the Arizona Coyotes versus the Chicago Blackhawks because we know Coyotes are not a phenomenal team. They're just a better team in this matchup at home. So it's going to be an interesting one, but give me the over and give me the Coyotes on the money line for parlay piece and their team total over 3.5. Now, the New York Islanders taking on the San Jose Sharks, last game of the night, 10:30 Eastern for this one. Sorokin expected in goal for the Islanders. The Sharks, James Reimer expected here. Now, the Sharks +162 at home. The Sharks can't play at home, you guys. They are absolutely terrible. They're absolutely struggling. But when are they going to break this losing streak? Could it be tonight? The New York Islanders are so freaking inconsistent. They're -196 here on the money line. They're sitting 5th in the Metro. And I know they're fighting for a wild card spot. But to me, the Islanders could do exactly what the Islanders do, not win a game they need to. They're just like Calgary. They're so frustrating to bet and to back. At -196, there's no way I'm touching the New York Islanders. They're 1-4 in their last 5 meetings in San Jose. So while the Sharks can't play in San Jose, either can the Islanders. They're shaky on the road, to say it like the best. This team is absolutely struggling on the road. Sitting 15, 2-3 on the road this season. They should be so much better of a team. We look at the San Jose Sharks. They're not good, you guys. But if an upset's coming, it's tonight. Sharks, sprinkle, +162. For, like my dad would say, shits and giggles. I think they could pull it off. They break this streak. And the Islanders, we all shake our heads of why we had faith in them. I just can't have faith in them. So it would be a stay away if you don't want to just sprinkle that money line for the Sharks. I do think the team total of 3 is a great way to go, Benji, in this one. I do think the Sharks actually find the back of the net. This team is only averaging 2.87 goals per game. The Islanders with Sorokin, and it's going to be hard for them to get those 3 goals, but we have seen them vulnerable. We look at the Islanders. They got the Leafs on deck on Tuesday, so it's a couple nights away, but I just don't think the Islanders do it. I think the over 5.5 is in play too. While we know the Islanders trend nicely to the under, these teams trend to that under when they play each other, but the Islanders' last 4 games actually have gone over that total. The Sharks versus the Met do go over as well, going 7-2 in their last 9 versus the Metropolitan. To that over, and their home games going over just because they let those goals in too. So I do think this is one. Lean on the over. Sprinkle the Sharks to break that trend. They've lost their last 5 games. Last 2 games, though, they got to OT versus the Blues and the Kraken. So they're still fighting in these games, and that's something you got to look at when these teams are losing in overtime or in a shootout situation. They are fighting. So I think they have the chance to pull it off tonight, you guys. That's gross, so I know. Yeah, it definitely is. I like Benji's bet as well. Yo's on the money line. Mr. Expo, the under for the Stars. I know they're begging us to take the over, but the only way Calgary can win is if this one goes over the total. So I'm having a little bit of faith in Calgary that they're able to get past the Stars of defense. We know in playoff time last season, Jake Ottinger absolutely stood in his head in some of those games. But I do think Jacob Markstrom's playing better as well. I still do think we see some of those goals come in. I would look at Jake Ottinger's actually save shots on goal, and this is one thing that we'll quickly go over right now. Looking at those goalies versus teams that put up a phenomenal amount of shots on goal. If we're still getting Jake Ottinger right around that 28 number for his save shots on goal, we're going to hit it. He hasn't been confirmed yet. Jacob Markstrom has been confirmed. Markstrom over 25.5 shots, save shots on goal is coming in at plus 100 and at minus 128 to the under. It's going to be a hard number. We know Calgary's so strong at limiting the opponent's ability to get these shots on goal. Calgary's holding teams to 27.1, but the Dallas Stars is still putting up 32.4, 25.5. If we say even Dallas gets 30 shots on goal versus Calgary, we only need him to save, what is that, 26, 27, 28, 29. We only need him to save or to not let in more than 4 goals. I do think Jacob Markstrom over 25.5 save shots on goal is actually a really nice way to go with this game tonight. Jacob Markstrom is a strong goalie, and Dallas does come with those shots. The only problem is if Calgary does a really strong job at limiting the Dallas Stars, we've seen in some games them holding teams to, that 21, 22 shots on goal. I do think this is one where both teams have to come firing to get this win. So I do like Jacob Markstrom for over 25.5 save shots on goal. So let's bank with that. It's at plus 100, you guys. Fingers crossed. It's going to be quite the night. Okay, let's finish this up, you guys. It's Saturday. I've got March Madness to watch. We got hockey games going on. Got lots happening. Let me know what else you guys are doing for this beautiful Saturday. We still have the end of the first period, the Avs and the Red Wings 1-1. If you want to jump in on this game now, that total of 6.5 back to where it used to be, minus 102 to that over. You can look at, I do think this is a higher scoring one. I hope you guys jumped on the over 5.5 when that was available, when this one was scoreless. If you like this over 6.5, wait the first couple of minutes. Hopefully they come out slow in that first couple of minutes of the second period, and then we can re-jump or jump in on for the first time, if I can talk, on when it jumps to 6. So watch for that. Keep an eye on those lines and watch them move, you guys. Okay, so recap of what I'm doing here. The Boston Bruins taking on the Minnesota Wild. All the value is on the Wild here at home at plus 132. You guys know I'm going to put a little bit of money on the Wild today. I think they have every opportunity just because the Bruins have the Sabres on deck tomorrow, and I think they're going to take it to the Sabres, save their energy. I do think the Bruins and the Wild go under 5.5. These two teams are so strong defensively and goaltending-wise. I'm going to throw the under 5.5 into the parlay. The Winnipeg Jets and the Nashville Predators. You guys, I love a home dog. The home dogs are barking today. The Predators plus 122. I love. I'm going to bet that. That's one of my favorite bets. So Preds 122. I think they have every opportunity to pull this off. And this is another game I'm going to take to the under 5.5. I just look at this game. If the Predators are to win this game, it's got to be a lower scoring one. So give me the Jets and the Preds under 5.5. Man, maybe for parlay reasons, guys, buy it up to that 6. It definitely would be a strong way to go within the parlay. Pay that extra bit of juice. Now, the Edmonton Oilers and the Seattle Kraken, like I said, I think with the scheduling spot, one-off trip for Edmonton, my value lays on the Seattle Kraken here. But I do think first period over 1.5 for the parlay for Edmonton and Seattle. I do think both teams to score definitely is another one that you can look at in this game. We know how strong these offenses can come out. I'm kind of nervous at the over 6.5 for the full game. Well, I do think it goes over. I lean to it going over. I like when I'm taking the first period over 1.5 to just stay off the rest of the game, not to put too many bets in on there. Now, Hyman is day-to-day, so watch for Hyman and what he's doing if you're backing Edmonton. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Philadelphia Flyers, both teams on the back-to-back. The Canes need this win too desperately. Give me the Canes here in regulation for the parlay. for a straight up bet, I love the Canes here to have a big bounce back, -1.5 on that puck line at +110. I think they have every opportunity to get a nice big win here. I don't love the total in this game, so I'm going to stay off it. It all just depends on what the Philadelphia Flyers are able to do, and I really doubt they're able to do much versus the Canes. The New Jersey Devils and the Florida Panthers. Now, this is going to be a hard battle for the Panthers, but I do think they get the win here. I think the Devils will be looking ahead to their game versus the Lightning. That is on deck tomorrow. So while the Devils are a strong team, I'm fading the scheduling spot here. And we know the Florida Panthers are digging deep. They've moved up to 4th in the Atlantic. They're fighting these games out. This game screams over. This game screams over first period. It also screams both teams to score in the first period. So liking all of those angles. As I got like one of my hairs tickling the end of my nose. Sorry, you guys. The next game, the Montreal Canadiens and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Again, look ahead spot for the Tampa Bay Lightning with the Devils on deck tomorrow at home. So, and take Montreal on that puck line, +2.5 for the parlay. You guys know I am taking Montreal +290 for a sprinkle. And when I say a sprinkle, don't throw even a whole unit on it. Just put a couple bucks on it so that you can get that beautiful plus money. The next game, Toronto versus the Ottawa Senators. The Maple Leafs coming in here on their second leg of a back-to-back. Ottawa coming in with a better rest. I do think this is one where, depending on how many goals the Ottawa Senators let in, because we know their defense has been struggling as of late, we've seen them just allow too many. So I'm not going to jump on a side. I do lean on the Sens with that plus money. I think the over 6.5 is the best bet in this one. Leafs and Sens over 6.5. I think the first period goes over as well in that game. Now the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Rangers. Give me the Rangers all day and twice on Sunday. I think that they can get this nice win. So Rangers today, money line for the parlay. This one I do think has the possibility again to go to OT. We saw it in the first game. We didn't see it in the second. I think this is another one that could go to overtime. So give me the over 6.5 just because I think it'd be 3-3 going to OT. The Vancouver Canucks and the LA Kings. Again, I love the Kings today on that puck line at -1.5 at +130. It's Kings puck line or nothing for me in this one. I think they come out nice and strong in this matchup versus the Vancouver Canucks. Now, these teams trend to the under, and I don't love that, especially when I'm riding a puck line, so I'm going to stay off the total. The Dallas Stars and the Calgary Flames. You guys, just give me the over 5.5. Calgary has been getting up nice and strong in these first periods. So if you like Calgary here, taking them first period, I do think would be another strong way to go. Taking them, I'd just take them the money line, not the puck line in the first period, in case Dallas scores one as well. But we know that's where things are coming in. We did not get numbers for Jake Ottinger, but I do like Jacob Markstrom's save shots on goal over 25.5. Like I said, I think the Dallas Stars put at least 30 shots on him tonight, going over what Calgary normally allows, but he saves at least 4 shots on goal. So Jacob Markstrom over 25.5 save shots. The Arizona Coyotes, I'm going to take on the money line for the parlay versus Chicago Blackhawks. They've just been too strong at home. I do like their team total over 3.5 as well. I think they put up the goals tonight. And the New York Islanders and the Sharks. You guys know I'm a sucker for that plus money, and we've got a really gross home underdog in the Sharks tonight. This team has been absolute crap at home. I look for them to break that trend. The New York Islanders just so inconsistent. The Islanders come out and just dominate this game, so be it. But they haven't been able to in San Jose, only winning 1 of the last 4. I think the value's on the Sharks. If I lose it, I lose it. But I'm going to sprinkle on that. Look at their team total over, like you guys were recommending. I do think that is another solid way to go in this one. I think the full game goes over the 5.5. So that's what I'm going to throw into the parlay is the Islanders and Sharks over 5.5. Okay, let's recap it. Then I'll read your comments, and then we'll have a fantastic Saturday, you guys. The Bruin and the Wild under 5.5. I hate taking unders, you know it. The Jets and the Preds under 5.5. The first period between Edmonton and Seattle over 1.5. You know, if I would write my notes so I could read them, that'd be great. The Canes in regulation, the Panthers on the money line, Montreal plus 2.5, the Leafs and the Senators over 6 money line, the Stars and Flames over 5.5, Arizona money line, Islanders and Sharks over 5.5. My favorite bets of the day, Jacob Markstrom over 2.5 or 2.5. Over 2.5 shots on goal. God, can you imagine the juice you would pay on his save shots over that? No, I'm going to take the over 25.5 save shots on goal by Jacob Markstrom at plus 100. I'm going to sprinkle on the Sharks on the money line. I'm going to sprinkle on the Preds on the money line. I'm going to take the Canes plus 1.5 at plus or minus 1.5 at plus 110 on the puck line. I'm going to sprinkle on Montreal on the money line. And I'm going to take the Kings on the puck line minus 1.5 at plus 130. Those are my favorite bets of this day. Okay, we do have UFC. Going to be watching those fights tonight. You guys, tomorrow's Pikkit will have to be early or late. I am on Sports Grid from 12 o'clock Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you come over and join me there. I will try to do Pikkit before, not positive if I will have the time, but I will get up bets for those later games definitely later. Yeah, Vancouver has played absolutely exceptional in LA. I'm breaking those trends today, Todd. Wild on the money line and under 5.5 for you, Kev. Nice way to take that. Carolina first period. Kelly, you know, I was looking at these first periods and they killed me this week taking some of these games in that first period. I do think Carolina, the Canes, are able to pull off that first period, but I do think there's more value in just taking them for the full game here. I just don't want to be burnt on that first period. I just a little bit shell-shocked with what we saw in a couple of those. 2 goals apiece, Pens and Rangers. Yeah, they definitely both get 2 goals in that one. Plus 250, you're getting on. You guys know what he's getting that on. I'm not sure what exactly you're talking about. But you guys, it's been a great morning. Thank you for starting it off with me here. Let's make some freaking money today. Let's bounce back from yesterday's appalling day. Again, make sure you look for that NBA player prop. I'm going to have it out in the next couple of minutes here over on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button so you get all of those fun little things, YouTube shorts. Getting lots of views, so that's why we're doing those. If you want fuller explanations, look for my Cup of Joe. I will have a Cup of Joe out today. Unfortunately, the person who was meant to buy coffee in my house forgot to buy coffee, so I might have to run to Starbucks. That's me. I'm the person who buys coffee. I hated myself first thing this morning when I tried to grind the beans and my machine had no beans in it. So I contemplated heating up an old cup of coffee. Didn't happen. I didn't do it. I made a tea. It's a tea day, so need to go get that coffee. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Make sure you join me tomorrow. Again, I'm on Sports Grid 12 to 4. So if you want those early games, let's just see what time games kick off, you guys. We have games kicking off at 1 o'clock Eastern, and we have a ton of games between that. You guys, I will be able to get you the last 4 games of the night. I will go live after I'm done on Sports Grid. Let's plan for 4:30 Eastern. I will go live with all of my hockey bets. The other ones, stay tuned to the community post. I will put out on the community post or do a quick video for you guys on why I like those games. So you guys have a good one. We'll talk to you later. Best of luck in all of your bets.